I needed a desk for my garden studio, so I started with a Sony 38-inch TV, which I took the CRT tube out of. Also ended up with some other items out of the TV, speakers, electronics. But my main need was the glass from the flat panel CRT. So I started by breaking the vacuum in the tube. And then cut off the metal band that is used to support the TV inside the case. Pretty easy, just cut a slot through the metal band. It'll pop free, and then the adhesive that holds it to the glass peels easily away. Next, you need to cut the adhesive layer to separate the funnel-shaped portion of the glass from the flat panel. Using a diamond cutting wheel, and then paying special attention to stay on the funnel-shaped portion of the glass, so basically just above that adhesive layer. And if you see here, you can see how the adhesive layer is still intact, but I've cut the glass completely through on the funnel shape. And then that's simply removed. Now, do be very careful with this. It does get a lot of cracks in it. If you bump it against anything, it could easily shatter. But that is just disposed of. You can see the glass for the front of the TV is about a ½ inch thick. Now there's a metal frame inside the TV. It's just held in place by 4 spring clamps. You just easily pry those away from the retainers on the inside, and that'll all pop out of it. Now what remains is the front of the TV. Now I'm coming back in and removing any remaining glass from the funnel-shaped portion of the tube and the adhesive layer. Again, I'm just removing the diamond, using a diamond disc on a grinder, just lightly grinding that away until I get through that adhesive layer. You can see the adhesive layer here, and then after I've removed it, this is what it looks like. Now I do go back in and sand this with a very coarse sanding disc. Inside the TV there is an aluminum powder which is easily removed. Just vacuum some of it out and the rest of it wipes out pretty easily. It's pretty dirty. Getting it on your hands will leave your hands very black, but it's all washes off. You can see now, you can actually see through the glass. Next I started preparing the wood that I was going to use as part of the desk. Using again pallet wood here, plating it to thickness so that I could laminate these together. Now once I have those planed to thickness, just gluing up enough pieces to have a thickness of wood equal to the thickness of the glass panel. And after the first piece is done, do the same thing to the second piece. Here I'm using an old bed frame for the metal frame portion of the desk. Just cutting off legs, the bed frame, and then any rivets that are also attached to the bed frame, those are all removed. Now I'm just fitting the metal framework for the top so that I can measure how deep I need to make the cuts for the metal framework. And then those are cut to correct length. And then I took out a piece of the corner so that I could fit it to the other two end pieces for ease of welding. Now here what I'm doing is I'm removing a piece of the anchor for the bed frame, which on one piece I'm leaving half of it there, which will act as the feet for the legs. The other half I'm cutting off so that I can weld it onto the other two legs so that I have 4 legs with 4 feet. And cutting the other legs to length. Now all of the weld areas are cleaned as these bed frames are painted. So I wanted a clean surface for the weld. And this is where the feet are going to get welded onto the legs. Just cleaning off the paint on those portions. Now I'm laying out the frame for the top and starting to tack the corners for the top. I'll tack all 4 corners, make sure that everything fits together before I start doing my final welds. Measure it for square. Now that everything is square, just complete all of the welds on all of the corners. Because this is going to support the heavy glass top, I welded both sides of the top to reinforce it. Here I am putting on the other 2 feet for the other legs that didn't have it. Again, these were half of this supporting bracket from the bed rails. You can see at some points the paint does get hot, start to burn. But it's all part of the look I'm going for. It's a more industrial finish. Now that I've got the feet on, I can measure those and cut them to the final length. Now I'm starting to line up and weld the legs in place. Again, a simple tack first, and then make sure they're square to the top before doing a final weld. to secure those. Now I'm trying in the top, the glass top into the frame, make sure everything does fit before I get started. You can see here, the reason I'm using this for a desk is flat screen TVs. The glass is pretty flat. It's very flat top to bottom, but does have a little bit of camber to it from side to side. Now that the glue is dried for my pieces of wood, trim off the excess. And then run them through the planer to even up both pieces. Now what I'm doing is I'm making sure the height of those pieces is equivalent to the height of the piece of glass. These are the rails that are going to go on the legs, around the legs for the desk. Now what I'm doing is, the TV has a slight curvature to it, so I trace the curvature of the TV, take it over to my bandsaw, cut that curvature, and then make sure everything fits in the top like I want it. The reason I'm doing this is I want my desk a little bit wider than what the glass frame is, so I'm adding a little bit of width to it. And as you'll see later, it also matches the coffee table that I made. Here I'm just sanding everything, doing a final sanding prior to finishing. Now I'm just using linseed oil to do an initial coat. I like the way linseed oil brings out the character of the wood. So I coat everything with linseed oil first, and then I will finish over the top of that with a polyurethane finish for durability. Now I'm dressing all the welds, and just to reiterate, I welded everything both inside and outside because the glass top weighs 110 pounds and it's going to support quite a bit of weight, so I made sure that I welded the frame together, both the inside and outside, for strength. Now I'm just attaching the rails to help stabilize the legs. What I'm doing is I'm placing 2 lag screws on the front edge of each rail, and then 2 lag screws that go through not only the side rails but also into the back rail that you'll see me attach here in just a moment. Here's the back rail, and again the lag screws go through the metal frame, through the side rail, and into the back rail. Now again, once that's together, this is pretty much the finish. The pieces are all coated with polyurethane finish. And then here it is in my garden studio. Completely finished, and you'll see the reason I made it the size that I did is I had a limited space for the desk. And here is the coffee table that I was matching. I had made this earlier with two smaller CRT TV flat panels, glass framed. And then just for interest, also made a TV center out of reclaimed deck mahogany and some pallet wood in the middle. And then a table made out of pressed bamboo plywood and reclaimed metal. Now, again, everything that I used here, except for the lag screws, was free off of Craigslist. 38-inch TV, the bed frame, and the pallet wood were all free. The only cost was the 8 lag screws. Thank you for watching.